We're a real Texas family discovering our world, one destination at a time. I'm Delaney. Culture and history are my specialties. What's the German word for?
I'm Nikki, and I bring the fun.
This is Paris! It's a clue!
And I'm their mom, Jeannie, with trip tips for parents.
I think it's time for some adult flavors.
We explore around the globe and in our own Texas backyard to help families make culture and history their story. This week, we're hitting the road to discover the stories that make Texas, Texas, and find small towns with big fun for weekend road trips. Our first stop has us heading out Highway 290 to discover Washington County and see where Texas became Texas. Washington on the Brazos State Park is just off Highway 105 in between Navasota and Brenham. If you haven't been, it's time to add it to your bucket list. It's home to the Star of the Republic Museum, Independence Hall where the Texas Declaration of Independence was signed, and the Barrington Living History Farm.
Our tour of Washington County starts with the birthplace of Texas, Washington on the Brazos.
Let's go!
First, let's meet our guide to the past, Don Greer.
We're here at Washington on the Brazos, the birthplace of Texas. This is Don Greer. Can you tell us about the history here, Don?
Yes, Washington on the Brazos is a very important place in Texas history. It goes way back to the year of 1821. And Stephen F. Austin came into this area, and he brought a lot of colonists in here with the agreement with Mexico. Things worked out very well for many, many years. And Washington is where Texas began and where it also would become the Republic of Texas as it is today.
The Declaration of Independence of Texas from Mexico was signed in a wooden building a short walk from the Visitor Center in March of 1836. Just like you see today, these windows had no glass. While the convention met to sign the Declaration, it was 33 freezing degrees outside. Their only heat came from candles.
This convention here was a very important convention. The Declaration of Independence was signed here. The Constitution was drawn by 59 delegates in this same area, same location. And this is where Texas began. After the Declaration was signed and everything, the gentlemen left here and they joined the Revolution. And things went right along in that particular way. But this location is a very important place, and we have a marker right outside the building. We've been here since 1899. And the school children of Brenham and the county of Washington, they gathered donations, and this little marker was placed here, and it's a very important marker. So we're really proud of it, and we're really proud of this whole building and the little town of Washington here. So it is a very important place. We all hope that it will stay here for at least a couple hundred more years.
Next, we walk through the park to the Barrington Living History Farm and home of Dr. Anson Jones, who was president of the Republic of Texas until we became the 28th state in the Union. This is a living farm with costumed interpreters who help you understand what life was like more than 150 years ago. It's truly a step back in the past. This is about the size of a house for a family who first arrived in Texas in the 1840s. A fireplace and a few beds. Wow! Dr. Jones' home was constructed in what they call a dog trot style, facing southeast so it would bring the wind through the house to keep it cool. Just 2 bedrooms and a living area, with a smokehouse for curing meat and the kitchen, which wasn't attached to the house, just in case something caught on fire. And of course, a chicken coop for fresh eggs. The farm is also home to a very special species of pigs called Ossabaw Island hogs. They're descendants of Spanish pigs brought to the New World 500 years ago and left on an island off the coast of Georgia. They can actually drink seawater, which makes them very unique. Washington on the Brazos State Park is the perfect day trip to get into the great outdoors and step into the past.
Going to the dentist is fun when you visit Houston Pediatric Dental Specialists. Doctors Regina Lewis and Julie Longoria welcome kids of all ages into their interactive office. They'll help your little tiger keep their mouth healthy and learn about taking care of their teeth in an atmosphere of fun. Make an appointment at one of Houston Pediatric Dental Specialists' 5 locations in Houston and get ready to experience your own Smiles Gone Wild.
It's not whether you get knocked down.
It's whether you get up. By failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. It takes practice and determination to be great at your sport, whatever you play. That means finding a place where kids can get their body and mind ready to compete. For us, that place is HIT Indoor.
Young athletes need speed, agility, and practice to be great players and prevent injury.
Woo!
Have fun training to be the best in your sport with trainers who are the best in their field. To train to be the best, get to hitindoor.com. Now we head into downtown Brenham to follow the footsteps of Texas history.
Our next stop is Brenham's Antique Carousel. $1 a ride.
Brenham's Antique Carousel is located in Fireman's Park and is housed inside a unique 16-sided building. There's also a maypole thanks to the town's German heritage. Just hand your dollar to the ticket taker and hop on. Brenham's Antique Carousel is the oldest in Texas and was found in a field next to a railroad track in 1932. It dates back to 1910, and you too can ride a piece of history for just $1. Well, some of you.
Sorry, Mom and Dad. It's just for kids.
Our next stop showcases the heritage and culture of Brenham and gives us the sight and smell of what life was like back in the late 1800s, where your ride was a buggy, and where German, Czech, and Polish immigrants made Texas their home. This was the early version of an iPod. Welcome to the Brenham Heritage Museum, where we found a most interesting way to let your nose step into the past.
Brenham's a place where not only you can see history, but you can smell it. We're here at the Brenham Heritage Museum to check out the smell boxes.
Let's smell some history. This is a saddle shop.
Leathery.
Typical office, 1950s.
Smells like soap. This one's mine, the Candy Kitchen. Smells like butterscotch.
Brenham City Street, 1900s. Can't describe it.
They also have pieces that moms and dads might remember from their childhood.
This would take me hours just for one number.
How about doing your homework?
That is a cash register.
Oh gosh, this would take me forever to do my homework.
Or the dentist?
Delaney, time to go to the dentist.
Meanwhile, someone has mastered the typewriter just enough.
We have to leave our mark.
The Brenham Heritage Museum is a fun walk through the past. Find out more at brenhamheritagemuseum.org.
Just down the street, we opened the door to 1924 in Glissman's Pharmacy. Family owned and operated for 6 generations. The pharmacy is now a gift shop housed in a historic building with a great story. It wasn't just a pharmacy. Let's take a step into the past and meet Gloria Nix, descendant of Dr. Glissman himself.
So what's the history of this building?
Well, this building at one time was my grandfather's drugstore, and starting in 1924, but before that, it was a car and carriage shop. And they took the cars and carriages upstairs to work on them because there were no lights down here for them to see. All the lights in this, all the windows in this building are all upstairs, so that's where the light was. Now there's an elevator back here that we're going to see in just a second that they carried the cars and carriages upstairs on. There's also
We've never seen an elevator fit for a
this
carriage.
wooden floor that you see is the elevator. And it was put in before electricity was put in, so they they had to pull it up by hand, and they pulled it up by these ropes over here. See these ropes hanging here? So it only takes one person. It would only take one person to carry it upstairs, and so once the weights start coming down, then the elevator starts lifting itself up. So it was easy for one person to do that. And it's hard to see today because it's dark up there, but there was a skylight up there at one time, and that helped the windows. There's windows all along the upstairs, along the side, and on both ends. You see those doors back there? They drove the cars in those two doors back there, put them on this elevator, and took them upstairs. Wow, huh?
Yeah.
And you know what? This elevator still works.
In the old days, the pharmacy was in the front of the store, as Dr. Glissman tended to the medical needs of Brenham.
Gloria, what is this?
Well, this is a picture of my grandfather's graduating class. He graduated in 1904 in a class of 11 from the University of Texas Medical School when it was located in Galveston. He practiced medicine. At one time was known as the oldest practicing pharmacist in Texas. He filled over 500,000 prescriptions.
There's also a great movie that gives you a glimpse of life in 1900s Texas.
I bought this building and opened my own drugstore, Glissman's. I lived very close to this building and walked to work every day. My pharmacy was open 7 days a week and became a place where friends and neighbors met and shared pleasant times and took a break from the rigors of life in the 1920s. The downtown Brenham streets were unpaved in those days and filled with horse-drawn carriages. There were so many horses and buggies tied up in front, I constantly fought the blowing dirt whirling into the store from customers coming and going. So to help reduce the dirt coming inside, I came up with the idea of meeting my customers outside. It was my curbside prescription delivery service, and probably the first of its kind in Texas.
Glissman's Pharmacy and Gloria Nix are two great reasons to visit Brenham and hear Texas history from real people, sharing the stories of our past.
Girls lacrosse is taking over Houston thanks to the coaches of Tenacity, Texas.
You can't be number one without tenacity. It means tough, persistence, never give up.
The sooner you learn how to pick up a stick and throw, the better you're going to be. I think that if we can have girls starting lacrosse in middle school, even elementary school, it's going to get them better prepared, have a better skill set for when they get to high school, and hopefully maybe playing college.
The biggest part of being a goalie is like your mental toughness, being able to keep playing even after you've been scored on 10 times. And it's really helped me like in my everyday life, just staying mentally tough and confident in my abilities, even when I'm knocked down.
Lacrosse has taught me to be a team worker, working hard for what I want, and teaching me how to be tenacious.
To get into this great sport for girls, go to tenacitytexas.com. We're all about keeping kids and parents healthy and ready to play. For great advice on preventing long-term sports injuries, we turn to the expert, Dr. Alex Moore, in our Moore Sports Minute. Dr. Moore is one of Houston's top spine surgeons, and he spent a lot of time on the college football field as a former Division I left tackle.
Hi, my name is Dr. Alex Moore, and if you have an athlete that does their sport year-round, then this advice is for you. Overuse of the same muscles and bones can cause stress fractures. They should be taken seriously so your athlete doesn't end up on the sideline long-term. Stress fractures, when treated appropriately, heal in 6 to 12 weeks. Your child's sports career will be there after they've had time to heal. but playing through it can cause permanent damage. Don't ignore stress fractures. Take bone and back pain in young athletes seriously. If you have questions, contact me.
Dr. Moore has offices in Memorial and Cypress. Find him at drmoore.com.
Our last step into the past gets us into the real homes of the men and women that made Washington County the birthplace of Texas. Thanks to the Heritage Society, you can tour these historic homes and experience the lifestyle of our forefathers.
J.D. Giddings and his family were key players in establishing Brenham and its history. The Giddings-Wilkins house remains as it was in 1843 as the oldest standing home in Brenham with original artifacts and antiques.
When yellow fever ravaged the city, the Giddings family moved to higher ground and built the Giddings Stone Mansion. Cynthia Hamrick gives us the history of this beautiful home.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Giddings Stone Mansion.
Thank you.
So nice to have you here.
Who operates the house now?
The house is owned and operated by the Heritage Society of Washington County. It was given to us in 1976 by members of the Stone family. J.D. Giddings, their ancestor, built this house in 1870, and 4 generations of the family lived here thereafter. And the house was vacant for 2 years. And at that time, it was vandalized, and obviously people broke in. They stole light fixtures and mantles, and even stole part of the staircase.
J.D. Giddings and his wife had 8 children here. Only 3 lived to become adults, and J.D. himself died in a rather unusual way as reported by the local newspaper.
And he was in a carriage on his way to work, and the carriage flipped, and he was thrown and died 3 days later. They thought he was going to be all right, but medical knowledge being what it was, obviously there were internal injuries. And in his obituary, of course, you know, back then they told everything. And in his obituary, it said that his cause of death was corpulence. Do you know that word? It means that he was fat.
Oh.
And deranged bowels.
The house also holds lots of interesting secrets on life back then.
The dining room table, of course, would run this way. And right about here, there was a buzzer installed in the floor, so that as Mrs. Giddings sat here at the table, if she needed to buzz the kitchen, the servants' wing, all she had to do was reach out with her foot and push the buzzer, and it would sound in the kitchen wing, so that if the servants needed to come and bring more potatoes or clear the dishes or something, this is the way she let them know that they were needed.
You can see from the size of the furnishings how much smaller people were back then. Look at this tiny bathtub. They also had modern conveniences. The paintings in the home are really interesting. I couldn't help asking about the pink walls.
Cynthia, you said this is the boys' wing. So why is it colored pink?
Because at that time, pink was a color for boys, because it's a derivative of red, which is the warrior's color, and pale blue that we associate with boys today was thought to be much too delicate for boys at that time. So these 2 bedrooms and their bathroom and their hall are all painted pink. This is the original color that the rooms were painted when it was built in 1870.
The Giddings Stone Mansion is available for tours, and you can even have your event in this stunning home. Go to visitbrenhamtexas.com for more information.
There's something else really cool going on in Washington County and around the globe. It's called geocaching, and it's a free, real-world scavenger hunt. All you need is a smartphone or GPS and a sense of adventure.
Brenham is part of a really cool worldwide movement called geocaching. Washington County launched the very first geotour in Texas.
Players try to locate hidden containers called geocaches. You just register with geocaching.com and download the free app to get started.
There's a geocache here.
When you're in a location where there are caches, open the app on your smartphone and start hunting. They're hidden boxes that you find with clues. They can be under trees or even underground. This one's waiting for us.
We found it!
Let's see what's inside.
Geocachers leave a pad of paper and a pen so you can let them know you were here.
Don't forget to log your name. Sometimes in geocaches, people leave things for you to find. We're leaving our own little surprise from Kids Eye View.
Don't forget to close it and leave it where you found it.
When you're in Brenham, don't forget to try geocaching Birthplace of Texas or BPTX. You just might find some surprises from Kids Eye View. Brenham has 2 charming main streets with fun cafes and shops, many in historical buildings. It makes a great weekend trip for families that's close to home. When you go, stop in at the Visitor Center to find out more about stepping into the past in Washington County and go to visitbrenhamtexas.com. For tacos to Tex-Mex, make it Moderno. From fusion tacos like fried chicken, smoked brisket, and street tacos to enchilada plates, their famous Matamoros dip, and breakfast, Moderno is fresh Tex-Mex to the max in a fun neighborhood cantina. Their food's so good, your biggest challenge will be sharing. Head over to Moderno and come hungry. They're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the whole family to enjoy. Find them at motacos.com.
Silly Silly Girls is the official fun shop for Kids Eye View. From gifts for girls, moms, tweens, and teens, and monogrammed everything. Visit Silly Silly Girls, 7951 Katy Freeway.
One of Elle Magazine's top salons in the U.S. is owned by Houston mom Rachel Gower. For fabulous hair and perfect makeup, they're our pick to get us ready to explore the world in style. Get beautiful at the Upper Hand Salon in River Oaks, Hyde Park, and Royal Oaks.
On the way through the hill country, we have to stop at one of country music's most famous little towns. Welcome to Lukenbach. From the looks of the cars, something's definitely going on.
We finally made it to Lugenbach. Let's go check it out.
Lukenbach is a tiny town, literally just 3 buildings, a tavern/general store, a blacksmith shop, and a dance hall. At one time, the population was just 3 people with no room for bills. As they like to say around here, you can't find a town more laid back without being unconscious. Lukenbach became famous in the 1970s when Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson recorded a song about the simple life in Lukenbach, and a legend was born. Today, locals and tourists from all over the world stop into this tiny town for a cold drink and a little country music in the backyard.
As our road trip continues, we say ba-ba to Lugenbach and hello to a hill country hike at one of Texas's best camping spots, Enchanted Rock. Enchanted Rock is 18 miles north of Fredericksburg. Since it's our first time hiking the rock, we're gonna do the Summit Trail, which is 0.6 of a mile straight up. So pack lots of water. Now that we're geared up with sunscreen and water, we hit the trail. We check the maps for more information on its enchanted history. Enchanted Rock dates back to prehistoric times. Humans have camped in this park for 12,000 years. Just as we head up on the hike, the sky opens up.
It's raining!
A few minutes later, the rain passes, but now we have to wait for the rock to dry out.
Since it just rained, the park ranger advised us not to go up onto that rock until it turns from gray to pink.
The pink means dry, gray means slippery. Finally, we can head up. Nikki, of course, leads the way.
I think she's part mountain goat.
Meanwhile, I try a few different methods to scale the face. The four-legged lizard scramble, not my favorite.
Woo! That's much better.
Then I switch to backwards crab.
It's way more efficient.
Meanwhile, Nikki makes some friends.
Bud, you're looking kind of dry. Want some water?
Indians believed the rock was enchanted due to the odd creaking and groaning coming from the dome. I did a little groaning of my own.
Burn, 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 I'm burning.
Meanwhile, Nikki is about to summit to the top. Geologists say that the dome creaks and groans as temperatures change, and when it rains, the rock glitters, making it look like magic.
Once you get to the top and you're with the birds, the view is beautiful.
Now we know why it's really called Enchanted Rock. The way back down is a lot easier, and we get to enjoy the view and a sense of accomplishment.
Enchanted Rock is checked off the bucket list.
Kids can do anything.
We're a real Texas family exploring our world, one road trip at a time.
It's raining!
If there's a city, a beach, or a country road, Kids Eye View is going to explore it.
Come and take it.
All right, on to the next geocache.
Kids Eye View is driven by Land Rover Houston Central. Where will your Land Rover take you next?
As we travel around the world bringing you culture, food, and fun, we always meet real people making real products by hand. Our partnership brings their products to Houston to benefit children's charities. Lisa and Johan Pepin, owners of Les Pastres Organic Truffle Farm in France, give 50% of their profits to the One Family Orphanage in Haiti. To hear their story, try their heavenly organic black winter truffle oil, and see what else we're doing to help you eat well and give well. Go to thefrenchmarket.us.
Thanks for coming with us on our road trip Texas to find culture, history, and fun close to home. For travel planning and to contact us, go to our website at kids-i-view.com and click the Trip Tips tab. Where in the world is Kids Eye View going next? Find out Saturday, November 28th at 12 noon, right here on KHOU 11.
You can call me friend. Yeah.